Hey there, everybody. I am doing that 2 birds, 1 stone thing today. I am doing the Take 5 Art Challenge, and I'm also using the second signature of a flow journal. I've been doing a new type of signature in the journals that I make, and a lot of you have wondered about how to use it. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then I'm going to use elements from it to do the Take 5 Art Challenge. This is the second signature in the flow journals that are in my Etsy shop. The flow journal, the second signature, includes a bit of bling, Prima flower, metal tape, wood, styrofoam, chipboard, grunge board, cardboard, metal elements, bubble wrap, and gloss paper, as well as a selection of decoupage kind of paper. So we have a homemade deli paper here. We have some a napkin here, a little bit of typing paper, and some tissue paper. So a lot of you have purchased the journals, thank you, thank you, thank you, and go, hey, how do I use that second signature, you know, the texture signature in these journals? So I thought today I'm almost finished with another couple journals. And these are the last items going in my shop before I take my big trip overseas. And I am really needing some art. I need to do some art stuff. I really miss it. You know, when I'm putting together my flow journals, that's a different sort of art. I mean, it's construction. And there's a lot of thought and energy and love that go into the journals. And a lot of times I get so caught up in that I forget to, you know, just like do some art, girl. You know, go to your journal, draw. You guys know that I'm not a very good drawer. Paint. I'm not a very good painter either, but I really do enjoy it. I enjoy working in my journals, and I enjoy, you know, just doing art in general. So today, the Take 5 Art Challenge, thank you, Leanne, and all of the beautiful ladies who put this together, is washi tape, texture paste, yellow, the color yellow, 2 stamps, and splatters. So I'm going to kind of keep my note up here, and then I've got my texture elements here that I've pulled out of my signature of my flow journal, and we're just going to get started. I have mixed up, I'm out of Mod Podge, so I've kind of homemade some Mod Podge. I kind of mixed Mod Podge and a bit of Eileen's tacky glue kind of together. We'll see how that works. It hasn't exploded or anything yet, so yay! The first thing that I want to do is I want to go with the textural element here that I'm going to pull out of my papers that are in the texture signature of the flow journals. I think what I want to do, now these are the papers, the decoupage is papers that I have to work with. And luckily there's a number yellow. There's yellow right here. So that's one of my challenge elements that I've already met. So what I'm going to do here is just take off the back of the napkin, because that makes it a whole lot easier to work with. And I'll take the back off and just kind of start randomly tearing this into pieces. I don't want to get too... I don't want pieces that are too small, because then this will take forever, and I need to be packing and thinking about what I need to take on my trip. I haven't had a lot of time to think. So I am very lucky because my sister is thinking for me. And she is a seasoned world traveler. She and my brother-in-law both. My brother-in-law is a tour professional, so he works for people like, you know, Guns N' Roses, Eric Clapton, Paul Simon, that kind of Counting Crows, Rob Thomas, people like that. So he's been all over the world for years and years and years. So he's a, he's a seasoned traveler as well. And, but, this is my first time across the big pond, and I have to confess that, I'm a wee bit nervous about the whole thing. I'm working on excited and nervous. Excited and nervous. I'm working on a 12 by 12 piece of cardboard that was cut from a paper pad. The back of that paper pad always is, I tell you guys, those things are super, super handy. And you can do all kinds of things with those paper pads. I've been making ATCs out of them. I've been using them for, when I do a canvas or something like that, which isn't very often. My favorite kind of canvas is a cereal box. That just is a great canvas. I'll put an iCard up here to a tutorial about completing a cereal box canvas and how to prep the canvas for working on it and that kind of thing. So I think y'all will like that. The Etsy store is closing tomorrow, so no more journals until May the 1st. I'll be reopening the store May the 1st. I hope you guys don't forget about me. I plan to pick up a lot of fun things for us to work with while I am away. It's a great thing to be able to pick up ephemera in the country where you're visiting. I'm very excited about that, about bringing some things home and sharing them with y'all, of course. I did make a very small travel kit. I mean, like, it's a micro travel kit, and I'll show that to you guys in another video. My sister called yesterday, and she was telling me about the ounces of stuff you can take and what you can take and what you can't take. And, I had this sort of fear that I might take some quite nice art supplies and have them confiscated, before I even got a chance to use them, which would not be fun. So I knocked myself up a tiny, tiny little micro kit, and if somebody wants to take it away from me, then there's not going to be a whole lot of love lost there. It is tiny. Oop, there's a Mia hair. Whoops. Mia hair. And my daddy's brush. My daddy gave this brush to me a couple years ago. He was so proud of it. It was after he lost his vision, and he has always been keen to give you things. When you go visit him, and he took me in his little room, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Daddy, you've got a fan brush," and he said, "Well, what's that?" And I said, it's a really nice paintbrush that I could certainly use. And sometimes you have to kind of search for things among his vast collection that, you can take home with you and use. And he said, "Oh, well, will you please take that?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "I will take it." And honestly, guys, I use it every single day. I use it absolutely every single day to do something with. It is like my go-to brush, and you can tell it's starting to get super grungy. Doesn't it look super cool? Hold on. I got to, oh, look at that. It's starting to look really grungy, which I love. Okay, we've got some tissue paper down on our canvas board thingy. And now we're going to put down some of my handmade deli paper, which I really do love. This is the result of making inky papers. And when I make inky papers, I line my desk downstairs with a little bit of, well, not a little bit, it's like layers and layers of two things, you know, some desk paper, which is always super interesting, and also wax paper. Just plain old wax paper works really great. And then, you know, the result is this, as I'm spraying stencils and making inky papers and going rather wild downstairs. I'll be so glad to get to my little sunroom studio because we have been stuck upstairs since forever, for what it seems like forever, and then it snowed here yesterday. I'm ready for spring, y'all. I think we all are, aren't we? We are all ready for spring. I know my pals in Maine are really ready for spring. And Rochester, New York. My friends Bob and Mary up there, they've had tons of snow. Okay. Alright, now we've just got one more little piece of this, and it's probably a good thing because this is gone, and I have no more. We'll be scraping the bottom of the barrel on that one. Alright guys, I am going to dry this, and I will be right back. Hey there guys. Okay, we have dried our tissue paper, homemade deli paper, and napkin element onto our 12 by 12 little piece that we're working on. I'm adding gesso, and I'm just doing that in a very, I do not want a lot of gesso on here, so I'm just doing it super lightly just to kind of cover up that gray. I'm also, you know, I forgot to tell you what I'm even doing. I'm making oversized ATCs. I need some oversized ATCs to kind of use as postcards and thank you notes in my, when I ship my journals. I like to put something handmade, homemade in there, along with the rest of the homemade, handmade stuff that goes in there. So you can see how that kind of, the gesso sort of made everything kind of pop through. I really do like this gesso because it's all dried up. And to me, that kind of makes it super cool. Don't ever throw away your dried up stuff. I mean, you can always kind of reconstitute it with a little bit of water or just kind of use it as it is. I'll never forget that I had some paint one time that had really dried up, and I thought, well, maybe, you know, I can make this into something, and I just made like these little paint circles, put them on some wax paper, and like, well, that's cool. You know, I didn't have to throw that away. I'm big on recycling, as you guys know. I've squirted out a little bit of molding paste here, and we're taking a cardboard piece. These are in the texture signature of my flow journals. I've taken the cardboard and I have peeled away part of it right here. So I'm just gonna take that off, and then I'm going to use this part to scrape on some molding paste, and then I'll use this part of the cardboard to add some texture. So we're gonna just scrape on a bit of molding paste. Now I'm taking my cardboard that looks like this and going back and putting lines. So you can use one to scrape, and then one to scrape away. It really is cool. It makes very nice texture on a piece. And then scrape away. I know that's probably hard to see, y'all. So scrape some down. And this is molding paste, so I'm using another element from the Take 5 challenge for March. Okay, now that is all of our molding paste. See, you can see right there how nicely the lines turn out. Okay, so molding paste is down. I did two things. I applied it with some cardboard, and then I made my lines with cardboard that I had peeled to reveal the ribs. The next thing, let's see, we've done the yellow, we've done the texture paste. We need 2 stamps. I'm going to let this dry, and we'll work on our stamps, because for my stamps I want to do, I want to carve styrofoam stamps. So we're going to carve us some styrofoam stamps right here. I might need a bigger piece of styrofoam, but this is what you get in the texture signature. So let's just work with this. Okay, I'm going to, we're going to use 2 stamps, so I need to make 2. I'm taking a regular just ballpoint pen, and I'm digging into this styrofoam. I'm going to do one of my favorite things, which of course is circles. Don't dig too hard, but don't dig too softly. And I think with this one, I go with circles again. And this is just one way to use your styrofoam that you find in your texture signature. Okay, I'm going to grab a stamp pad and see how these look. I'm just going to look down here. I've got this little Memories dye ink pad in a midnight blue. Turn your styrofoam this way, ink it up, and let's see if we get a print. Yay! Awesome. Alright, so we've got this stamp and this stamp that we made with the styrofoam in our texture signature. And I like those. Those look pretty cool. They kind of have a tribal look to them. So I'll put my ink pad over here. I'm looking to see how this has dried up. I'm going to step away, y'all, and hit this with the heat tool. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, the next part of the challenge, I'm not going to put on my styrofoam stamps quite yet, and I also thought that I do have a piece of bubble wrap also from the texture signature in my flow journals that I can also use as a stamp element. But what I want to do now is there's the challenge calls for splatters. I'm not good with splatters, and I'm trying to keep the studio fairly clean since I'm not going to be here for a while, so I don't have time to like wipe down walls and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some drips. I'm using a yellow Neocolor 2, and I'm just running that along the edge of the piece. Just get me a good layer of it up here. And then I'm just going to create some dripping. So sorry, y'all, not sticking with the challenge in its entirety. So I've run some Neocolor 2 yellow up at the top. And what I'm going to do now is kind of just tilt this board a little bit and give this element some water and see if I can create some dribbles. And I might not be able to, I also don't want to get this too wet. But it looks like, there's one right there. Okay. I've got some, it's happening. It's happening. Okay. Then we did get one right here. There we go. This takes a good bit of water, which I wasn't really in favor of, but we'll just let that one happen. I'm going to do the top up here. Yellow is the color of the challenge though, so. But you can see how this is really getting some nice, really good juicy texture when we used our cardboard spreader, you know, to put some lines in this. There we go. We are getting a few drips. That's a good one right there. Alright, let's do this one, this side over here. I can't tell you how much fun I'm having. It's just nice to just goof around. Artwork is work, y'all. It's kind of the way it is, but boy is it a joy. So there we go. Sorry, weird camera angles. There we go. Getting some good dripping going on now. Okay, good. We've got color added. Now I'm ready to draw this and do some stamping on it. Okay friends, I am ready to do some stamping. This has dried substantially. So taking a Memories dye ink pad in a midnight blue. I do not have a black ink pad at the moment, but this midnight blue does really nicely. And these are the stamps that we carved from our foam texture element. So let's get a few of these down and see what that looks like. I love it because it's super tribal. It's really, really neat. And it's not so like in your face, you know, it's very subtle. And I really do like the way that, look at the way that the deli paper reacted to all the layers and all the techniques that we've used. It's really super cool. Okay, I'm going to use this stamp now. And then I'm going to finish it off with some bubble wrap. I think a bubble wrap stamp would look super cool. Some of you have asked where in Italy we're going. We are going to Milan and to Florence and Rome and Venice. So I think that will be an awesome and lovely trip. Okay, so we've got that stamp on, and we've got one more to do. We've got the bubble wrap. I think that makes a cool stamp too. And it's quick.
Well, hopefully y'all can see the problem.
Okay guys, now I'm going to step away and draw this, and then we'll be cutting our oversized ATCs, and we'll be finishing them off with more of the texture elements over here. Okay friends, I have my 12 by 12 cut up. I wanted to show you a couple things. My nasty hands got ink on them. Leanne over at Creatively Free to Be Me has saved me lots and lots of money in replacing my cutter blades. This is an old blade, And this is what I use to cut cardboard and things that I've painted and stuff like that. This is my new blade. And I go through a lot of blades, so I've started dating my new blade. So I know that I put this one in on 4/1. If I run across some weird paper and it kind of gets raggedy on the edge, I will know if it's the paper or the blade. A lot of times when you cut paper, especially handmade paper, you get that kind of raggedy edge, which we all kind of love, but this keeps me kind of on track in knowing how old my cutter blade is. So just a little handy tip. Thank you, Leanne. That's a great tip. And this one just says old, so I know which one I'm using. I cut our 12 by 12 up, and this is what I got. I have outlined these with washi tape, which was also part of the Take 5 challenge. I'm going to finish these 4, and then I'll go back and finish these as well. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 squares to work with, and that's a really nice number of, I do like the number 9 as well as the number 8. So we've got these that we want to finish up, and I'm going to take some of my texture elements and just play around with them and see what we can create on these little cards. I like working in a small format. I'm not really good at working in big spaces, and I think that's why I do like art journaling so much, is because I can kind of work in a small kind of confined-ish space. Let's see. Okay, so we got a lot of things to work with. We've got some gloss photo paper, we've got some metal tape, we've got a Tim Holtz scrunch element, we've got a pocket full of a couple of metal items. So we've got those to play around with. We've got a chipboard element, we've got a Prima flower, we've got some bling, and we also have a couple of wooden elements as well. So let's just kind of toy around here and see what we can come up with. everybody. Okay, I finished 4 of my little square 4x4 cards that started out as the back of a paper pad. You know, that really nice piece of cardboard that you have here, there. I created a little card that says shine, also using the Take 5 challenge prompts as well as the texture element, the texture signature in my flow journal. So this is what I came up with, and I think they're kind of cool. The words bohemian, bohemia, and boho came from the front of the paper pad that I used to create these little things. I thought that that was interesting, you know, to see those words written a couple of different ways. So there we go, guys, a little Take 5 challenge mixed with how to use the texture signature of my flow journals. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed just having some fun. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you, and I will see you soon. Bye.